Yesterday we talked about multiplying decimal. So today we're going to be talking about dividing decimals. Before we get started, I would like to first point out the parts of a division problem. If you were to see a question on anything that said, what is the quotient of this problem, you would know that we are talking about division, right? So we all know what the quotient is the answer. Dividend is what goes underneath the tent, the 93, and the divisor is what you're dividing into the dividend, or the 93. So on that board over there, I have 3 different ways to look at a division problem. I would like you to write those at the top of your paper. 93 over negative 3.1 is the same as negative 3.1 goes into 93 is the same as 93 divided by negative 3.1. You are going to see it all 3 ways. I want you to understand what goes under the tent and what goes on the outside as the divisor. So take a minute and write those 3 different expressions down because they all mean the same thing. So when you get to your homework, if you see a problem that looks like this, you'll know to write the 93 under the tent. It gives you a little bit of help.
So it's always on the right, always goes under the...
Yes. Okay. Now, we're going to take the same problem. Is everybody ready to move on? It's written over on that board as well. We're going to take the same problem, dividend and divisor, 3 basic steps. Okay? If there is a decimal in the divisor, we are going to make it a whole number by moving the decimal. In this case, we're going to move the decimal 1 spot to the right. Whatever we do outside, we're going to do inside. So we're going to move both decimals 1 spot. And then in the answer, I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal point. This one's already worked for you on your worksheet. Okay? Now we're going to divide like we always do. 31 goes into 930, and then we'll talk about the negative sign in a minute. What I like to do is estimate what I think it goes in approximately how many times. So I'm pretending this is a 30 and this is a 90. 30 goes into 90 3 times. So let's see what happens. 31 times 3 is exactly 93. Bring down the 0. 31 does not go into 0, and there is no remainder. Am I done?
Yes.
No. What am I forgetting? A negative sign. I have a negative and a positive. The signs are different, so my answer is negative. Negative 30. So let's look back at the steps. Remember to move the decimal the same number of places in the dividend as you do the divisor. Place the decimal in the same position in the quotient, which is the answer, and then solve as if it were any division problem. Is that easy enough to remember?
Yes.
This example is also on your worksheet. So we're going to work it together. This has the same look as the one on the right. So we're going to put negative 19.8. Well, before we do that, the signs are both the same, aren't they? They're both negative, so we know our answer is positive. So we're going to put the 19.8. We don't worry about the negative sign under the tent. And put 4.5 on the outside of the tent. That one's done already for you, so let's go ahead and watch. In this particular problem, we need to move the decimal 1 space to the right in the divisor, so we're going to move it 1 space to the right in the dividend. 45 goes into 198. Well, 40 goes into 160 about 4 times. If I tried 5 times, that would be more than 20 or 200, wouldn't it? So let's try 4 times. Goes in 180. So that looks about right, doesn't it? 4 times into 198. Subtract. Bring down a 0. 45 goes into 180 again, 4 times. And there is no remainder. So we know it's positive, so our answer is 4.4. Any questions so far? I'm going to do the next 3 with you, and then you're going to do 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Number 1, I know the answer is positive. Number 2, the signs are different, so my answer is negative. Number 3, the signs are different, my answer is negative. Now we're going to set them up. 15.81 is under the tent. 3.1 is on the outside. Need to move the decimal 1 spot to the right, between the 8 and the 1, put it in the answer. So I'll go slow enough that you can stay up with me. Now you do some estimating. I think a 30 goes into 150 how many times? 5 times. So let's try 5 to start with. Does that look like an approximate amount? I think so. Subtract 3 left over, bring down the 1. How many times does 31 go into 31?
1.
I heard people yell out 0 earlier. Just goes into 1 time. Okay, don't ask me these questions. And it's positive, so my answer is 5.1. Don't overthink these. Each one of you in here can do these. Okay? Number 2. We already know it's negative, so we're not going to worry about the negative sign. 102 is under the tent. 20.4 is what we're dividing into it. Now, we have a decimal outside, but not a decimal inside. So let's see how we handle this. We're going to move our decimal 1 spot to the right. Here's our decimal. Move it 1 spot to the right. What do I need to put in that empty spot?
0.
A 0. And put our decimal in the answer. So this would be like 200 goes into 1,000. Does that sound like a good estimate? I would think it goes in about 5 times, don't you think?
Yes.
So let's try that. 204 times 5. 20, 10. Oh my goodness, it goes in exactly.
Yep.
No remainder. And our answer is negative.
Negative 5?
Because the 2 are different signs.
That's what I'm making.
You do that first, that way you don't have to worry about it later.
It's gonna mess me up because I'm gonna forget about the negative signs. I got like 0.
Yes, I saw that on some quizzes. Okay. Last question we're going to do has a little different look. Under the tent is the 4.84. Outside is a 2. We're not going to worry about the negative sign because we already know the answer is negative. There's no decimal on the outside looking in, is there? That means we don't have to move this decimal except to put it in the answer. Okay? And then we divide. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 0 remaining, bring down the 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. 0 remaining, bring down the 4. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 0 remaining. And we already know our answer is negative. Okay, go ahead and hit pause on your iPads or whatever device you're looking at. And when you finish these 3 questions, you may go ahead and turn it back on and look at the answers. Your homework is the back page as well as those 2 word problems. Here are the answers you're going to check your work with.